In our last episode, we followed Lemuel Haynes, a man of both the musket and the mind, as he stood guard for liberty and dared to ask in writing who freedom was truly for. But today, we turn our eyes to the smoky heights of Bunker Hill. This is the story of Peter Salem, a man who rose from bondage to battlefield and may have changed the course of a war with a single shot. Peter Salem was born into slavery in Massachusetts around 1750. He was given the name Salem, possibly a nod to his African heritage, or perhaps to Salem, Massachusetts itself. As war neared, his enslaver, Jeremiah Belknap, chose to grant him his freedom so he could serve in the militia. Peter Salem joined Captain Simon Edgel's company of Minutemen and soon found himself on the front line of American resistance. When the call came, he marched straight to Breed's Hill, the site of what would become known as the Battle of Bunker Hill, on June 17, 1775. The battle would be one of the bloodiest of the entire war. It would also be one of the most misnamed. Most of the fighting happened on Breed's Hill, not Bunker Hill. But names don't matter as much as what happened there and who made it happen. As British troops launched wave after wave of attack up the steep slopes, American defenders, many of them farmers and tradesmen, held fast behind their makeshift earthworks. And among them stood Peter Salem. Accounts differ on the exact moment, but several officers and eyewitnesses agree on this. During one of the final charges, as British Major John Pitcairn led his men up the hill shouting orders, a Patriot sharpshooter took careful aim and fired. Major Pitcairn fell, mortally wounded, and according to Captain Levi Foster, as well as other contemporary sources, that shot was fired by Peter Salem. The moment was more than just a tactical victory. Pitcairn had led the British at Lexington. His fall was a symbolic blow, a signal that the Americans, including black soldiers like Salem, would not back down. Some historians dispute the claim, others embrace it. But here's what we do know. After the battle, Peter Salem's bravery was widely recognized. He was honored publicly, not just by his fellow soldiers, but by artists. In 1781, he was painted by John Trumbull, depicted standing alongside white officers at Bunker Hill. A rare and powerful moment of inclusion for a black man in the Revolutionary narrative. Peter Salem would go on to serve in the war for nearly 5 more years, re-enlisting in the Continental Army and fighting in battles from Saratoga to Stony Point. Yet after the war, like so many, he faded into poverty and obscurity. He died in 1816, buried in a modest grave in Framingham. But his shot, if indeed it was his, changed history. Peter Salem reminds us that courage doesn't come from your rank or your race. It comes from what you're willing to risk for a cause that's greater than yourself. He had been enslaved. He had been forgotten. But for one critical moment in the smoke of battle, he stood tall, and he made a difference that still echoes today. Next time, we'll turn to the story of a man who walked both sides of the enemy lines and helped win the war with a mind built for secrets.